This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a country.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Racial consultants are standing by. Caller 9844999. Ola will play profile this in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, a quick check into Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, a new study looked at Google's shopping stats and came up with the most popular sex toy in all 50 states.
How many are there?
50?
No. What I mean is, I'm sure there's like
how
5
many different
or 6
sex toys,
popular toys that comprise more than one state. I would like, depending on where you are, maybe like in Alaska, it could be a fleshlight.
Now, are they breaking it down? Like, is it straight
population
like
of
dildo vibrator, or is it like the Exron 5000?
Like, there's more men that live in North Dakota than women because of the job
so fleshlight's going to do a lot better.
So maybe that's the big one there, or something like that, or a doll, or I don't know.
Bath & Body Works is now selling sriracha-scented candles.
He's not even going to touch this.
He's not.
No, I'm moving on. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not working on it.
Okay.
You want
sriracha scented, that would burn your nose.
Well, the smell of it doesn't. I mean, if you were to drop the wax all over your body, I suppose, yeah, it would burn, but...
Has there been a point in your life where you thought, man, you know what would make this better if my place smelled like sriracha?
No.
I mean, it's great when you come home and you have a crock pot, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is, I know I'm going to eat this delicious thing that I smell. Or if you walk into a restaurant and it smells good, it's like, that's great, I'm going to eat it. But if I walk into a restaurant and you go, ooh, what are you guys cooking? Oh, that's not what you smell. It's just our candles in the bag.
I think it's the equivalent of like the buffalo powder. Like, it's not... Like, I got Chex Mix the other day and I effed up because I got the sriracha. So, like, sriracha is good as it is sriracha. But when you put it on anything else, like, it's like fake grape. I know the taste of fake grape when I have it. It doesn't taste anything like grape, but I don't mind that taste.
Sure.
The fake sriracha is not an enjoyable flavor. Sriracha is very good.
But are you ever dying to smell it?
But they have a ton of candles that smell like cookies and cupcakes cooking.
Well, yeah, because cookies
But that
smell
makes
good.
you happy. I know I'm not going to eat them, but I feel like...
I mean, look, I'm with you. I don't like sriracha that much, but there's some people that love sriracha.
Didn't they want to almost close down like a sriracha plant in California or something?
Yeah, the
because
neighbors.
The smell was so bad that people couldn't tolerate it.
Oh, my.
Like an entire
but
town
that's
sued.
making it. Like, this will just smell like you've put sriracha on food.
All right.
A grandmother in Canada is going viral because one of her grandkids gave her a snowball as a birthday gift 11 years ago, and she still has it in her freezer.
She might be a hoarder. I just got to throw this out there. When you keep a snowball for 11 years, I think it speaks to bigger problems.
You say what flavor it was?
The snowball, Ted?
Yeah, see the snowball. Yeah.
Damn it.
Grandma never ate her candy.
And we decorated the cake with sriracha candles.
A 63-year-old man in Romania was officially declared dead in 2016 because his family hadn't heard from him since 1992. Now it turns out that he's alive, but he missed the deadline to appeal, so the ruling is final and he's officially deceased.
Sweet. You can
really
do whatever
think-
you want then,
That's
right?
exactly what
I mean, it's like getting a free ticket to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, you can't prosecute me. I'm dead.
I'm a dead man,
Like,
right?
I can't even pay for this airline ticket. I'm dead.
You know what? Arrest the hooker. She's a necrophiliac. I'm dead. I couldn't have paid her. I'm dead.
Right?
I'm legally dead.
I didn't steal anything. I'm dead. I'm laying in a coffin.
You gotta wonder
imagine
what the
trying to-
benefits to being dead are.
I don't know. Just imagine him getting in trouble for a crime now, and he's in like the interrogation booth, just like dead man's tell no lies. I won't say F.
Tails.
Dead man pays no taxes. Dead man does a lot of stuff if I'm
right.
a dead man.
That's right. A 19-year-old bank robber in Indiana was arrested after he took a taxi to and from the bank and used some of the stolen cash to pay for it.
Damn, man.
I'm thinking he didn't use near enough of the stolen cash to pay for it. That's why he got caught.
Solid point, Mike. Solid point. You just robbed a bank. You better grease that guy with a lot of money.
That's right.
You
He
think
knows.
the cab driver knew?
He's got to. You leave a bank with like whatever the sack is full of cash.
If you have to take a cab to the bank, right, you're not walking out of there with the sack
Man, you
of
have a
cash.
stocking cap on your face.
Right. Take me to the bank.
A judge in Oregon accidentally locked herself in a courtroom earlier this month and didn't have her phone. So she used a bench as a battering ram to try to break out and caused about $3,000 in damage.
Yeah. Doors aren't cheap. Windows aren't cheap. However she tried to get out, none of that stuff's cheap.
Why wouldn't she just knock in the other?
Why would she what?
Just
She
knock
did,
in the
Thrill,
other.
with the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she did, but
I don't know, it just seems a bit extreme. For the judge, like, you'll be taken care of, you're fine.
Who was it? It was like a pro football player or a pro basketball player was like at a wedding someplace, and it was like in a museum or something, and they got like stuck in there all night. They closed the doors.
wasn't it Carson Wentz?
I don't know who it was. It was
Couple years
somebody
ago?
famous, yeah, like somebody who like got stuck in a frickin' like a museum or something weird.
Wasn't
Like-
that the Olympics a few years back over in Sochi?
I can't remember, man. It was a bizarre story. I was like, that would be crazy. Like, what do you do? Like, you just, guess you walk around and check stuff out. I don't know.
American coffee drinking is skyrocketing. 64% of adults say they now drink a cup every day. Back in the mid-90s, it was under 50%.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like my parents were drinking coffee all the time when I was growing up. That's
Right.
when I was
The,
growing up in the 90s.
There was
but
always a
still.
pot in the morning.
Yeah, always.
Does this mean the tea shops are going to go away now?
Hopefully.
I don't know. Like at my house, like nobody drank coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I feel like now I meet more people that will all have some coffee. Seems like it used to be hot or cold. You're either a house that had coffee or not.
You know what I think the difference, man, honestly, is Starbucks, right? Because before Starbucks existed nationally, you're right. Either there was a pot of coffee in the morning or there was not. But other than McDonald's, there wasn't like some place you went to get coffee and then all kinds of different designer coffees and all this stuff. But Starbucks has, I think, turned people on to coffee that wouldn't normally drink coffee because there's different ways to consume it, I guess.
Oh, 100%.
You guys do decaf at night?
No.
Hell no.
No.
Oh,
The
okay.
only time you get decaf is if you're a D-bag to the barista.
Okay.
And you don't know
Or you
you're drinking
actually
decaf.
ask for it.
Yeah, Mike, you'd like some coffee. Drink a decaf at night.
Sometimes it's nice to relax with decaf coffee.
Okay.
Why? Because if you have regular coffee, you just can't. It's too much.
Mike, you really need to do more drugs or something.
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
just
like,
smoke a joint.
you should-
Caffeine's my drug.
Don't
there,
you
Thrill.
have? You can buy edibles. I mean, you don't have to smoke.
You
it.
should
Just
be able to drink a cup of
just have
coffee
a-
at night without.
have a 10 milligram brownie, man, and call it a night. Seriously, have all
I'm
the
with you,
coffee
though.
you want.
I can't drink coffee after a certain time in the afternoon.
Really?
Yeah.
Get jittery, man.
I mean, I'm not against drugs. That one just hits me.
Yeah, it does because it's a heavy drug.
Sonic is starting to sell pickle juice slushies this summer.
Yeah, they're stupid. They should shut up. I'm sorry, man. That's not okay. When I was growing up, right? This honestly got truth. I don't like pickles. My father does not like pickles. My mother and my brother both enjoy pickles. So,
What's wrong with pickles?
my mother would buy a jar, but I think they're the most atrocious thing. It's like you took a cucumber and on a dare you made it worse, which is already ridiculous, right? So, but my brother loved pickles, and so at some point, parents are, and I'm that way now. Hey, so my father calls me into the kitchen, and he's pointing at this gallon empty-ass jar of pickle juice now, right? And he's like, I tell you guys this all the time. Usually it's milk. If there's only a little bit left, just throw it out. Typical thing a father's going to say. I'm like, hey, man, I don't eat pickles. You should know that your smarter, older son, he drinks the juice. So now there's this weird, awkward pause, and my father just looks at me and just says, God damn it. Closes the door, and that was it. That was the whole conversation. But that night, my father's now watching, and my brother's actively dumping the pickle juice in a glass, and we're sitting down for dinner, and my father made him stop. He's like, I can't do this.
My parents did the same thing. I love drinking that. And they were like, stop drinking the juice. Like,
It's
you
like
just-
vinegar, right?
Yeah. But I
You like vinegar. I know, man.
Saved your life out in the desert, Ted.
Yeah, it's the best part.
There's a man in Ohio who set the world record earlier this year for eating at Chipotle for the most consecutive days at 426.
Jesus.
Well, he ate there for the 500th straight day recently and then announced that he was ending history.
Yeah, he got back his title. And someone else had taken it from him, so he started again and did it.
Oh, goodness.
Now he's moving on to a different place.
Don't let that be important to you, man. Right.
Someone is terrorizing a highway in Florida.
Who's that?
I'll tell you all about it 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is
The Men's Room presents Profile
And
This.
Stephen Throwhill, can you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Zach. Welcome to the Men's Room.
How you doing?
Hola.
Hola.
All right, Zach, you understand how this here game is played.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Here is your story, and I'd like to point out that it finally happened. Something interesting happened on a conference call. Now, a manager at Southern Power Grid had a video conference call last week, and afterwards, he forgot to turn off his video feed. So all the employees, they watched as a female coworker came into the conference room, and they started having sex right there on the conference table. Keep in mind, his video feed is now playing to everyone who'd been on this call. Now, the footage was posted on social media over the weekend. Censors quickly pulled it down. And the two employees who posted it, they could be facing defamation charges because their boss is claiming the footage was doctored and that he's being framed. Don't worry, no one actually believes that, but that's what he's saying. My question is, do you believe that this enterprising boss who's getting laid on the conference room table is black, white, Asian, or Jew?
Where did this happen at?
It just says the Southern Power Grid, whatever company that is.
Oh, I'm leaning towards white. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I am too. Just because, number one,
I was slaying on a conference table.
It's the boss.
That's
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm right there with it. I understand.
He had a video conference call and then
Forgot to turn off his feed. And I mean, you're talking no time later, whoever this other female employee walks in and they throw her down on the conference table.
Plus, it's somewhere in the South, right? Because it's Southern.
The name of the thing, what is it?
Well,
Southern Power Grid.
there's a southern place in all places. It's just the most southern point.
Yes, sir. We'll go with white. I'll stick with white.
Final answer, Zach?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to find out if the boss was black, white, Asian, or Jewish next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, profile this. We've got a guy who's on a conference call there, and apparently when the conference call was over, he invited in the secretary or coworker or whoever it was, and they started having sex on the conference table. And he forgot to turn off the video conference feed, so right there for all to enjoy is himself having sex with a coworker on the live video stream.
That's right. And they even posted it on social media. It was taken down. But then the employees that posted it, they're potentially facing defamation charges because the boss says, man, this footage was doctored, et cetera, et cetera. No one believes them. We'll see how it shakes out. But the question was, did you believe that this boss was black, white, Asian, or Jew? Went with white.
Oh!
Asian.
Okay. All right. Now for all TV news all time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
The Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
So nowadays, right, like a lot of things, things always go in and out of business. But a lot of stores have had a tough time with the advent of Amazon.
Sure.
I don't know, if you're watching movies on TV, there's on demand, there's Netflix. So there's a bunch of different ways to get your stuff.
Toys R Us just went down.
Toys R Us is a sad story.
It is.
Right? I loved Toys R Us as a child.
You know that, and this is one of the things they don't talk, which is crazy to me. Because you keep hearing about the story of the Toys R Us and all the financial things, and they're closing all the stores. Jeffrey the giraffe now has to go to a giraffe sanctuary. I think, to me, here's a guy, right, had a good 30-year run, spokes giraffe for Toys R Us. They go out of business. Everyone's talking about the employees, and I get it. But no one's worried about Jeffrey. I'm basically going to put him out to pasture. You understand?
As an adult,
he was just on Jimmy Kimmel the other night.
was he really?
Was he?
Jesus Christ.
Hi, kids!
Oh, no. I was kidding. Oh, no.
Wow. How you doing? Welcome. It's the Toys R Us mascot, Jeffrey. Remember Jeffrey the giraffe. Hi, Jeffrey. How are you?
Hi, Jimmy.
How you doing?
I'm good. I have a question for everyone here.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys like toys? Well, I don't have any because we're bankrupt.
Oh, come on, Jeffrey. It's gonna be okay.
No, it's not.
All right.
No, it's not because all you bitches bought toys on Amazon. Now I'm out of a job.
Jeffrey, your breath smells a little bit like alcohol. Are you drunk? Tell me the truth.
Yes, I'm drunk.
Okay.
I'm drunk. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Oh, no.
There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with, but not anymore.
Oh, no. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. Guillermo, could you just take Jeffrey, maybe get him another drink or something?
Come on, Jeffrey.
All
Let's
right,
go to the
there you
green
go.
room.
Thanks. Cheer up, Jeffrey. Maybe Target has something for you.
If you want to see that video, it's up on the Bedroom Facebook page. It is hilarious. I know. That was very nice. You guys started talking about Jeffrey like, yeah, he was just on with Jimmy Kimmel.
Did not realize that.
I've got no reason to go to a Toys R Us, but as an adult, but when I do, I always like, this is awesome. And that's probably half the reason that they went out of business, because I never actually walked in there.
Right.
But when you do walk in, you just see all the new toys and everything. You're like, this is a great store. Like,
Well,
this is so cool to be able to see it visually instead of scroll through and you actually see what the toy is.
And I don't think it's just Amazon. I mean, it also hurts when like you can go to like a Walmart or a Target or this or that.
Yeah.
Like
It's not a special destination. It's just a destination you're going to go to anyway.
Right. And they have, toy stuff there.
And one of the worst things, man, and I mean this very honestly, like, you enjoy walking into a Toys R Us because you're right. You're just surrounded by things that are designed to be fun.
Whether it's a drone or whatever.
Right. And obviously it's contagious. But the problem is, as someone who has kids, like, I'm going to go in there twice a year. Well, 3 times a year. Their birthday's Christmas, right? Otherwise, the idea of bringing a kid into Toys R Us is like taking your buddy on AA and going on a booze cruise. I mean, it's like they go bad quick. Your kid, it's just too much, man. And I don't care who the kid is. I don't care what threat you level at them, because you hear them all. If you go to the toy store and you hear parents talking to their kids, it sounds awful. It sounds like an interrogation. It sounds like they're going to murder their child, because the kid is now the equivalent of an adult on PCP. You cannot reason with them. They cannot see beyond all these toys, and they want every goddamn thing, and they leave in tears. I'm telling you, it is. You walk in happy, you leave angry,
because
man.
even if you take your kid to the grocery
get in the
store,
car. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
In the grocery store, all they want is one item of food, which people eat, and you go, no, you can't have that. So, like, how are you going to release those reins in a toy store and go like, oh, just pick out 9 things? Like, that doesn't happen as a parent.
Even at that, like, back in the day when I was a kid, I remember Toys R Us, like, my parents had to go there also to get, like, stuff for my cousins or
right.
another little kid And, like, I know in theory as an adult I could tell a child, hey, you don't get anything this time. But I also know as a child when I went there, it was like, we're getting something.
Man, it's not, look, yes, you can tell your kid, we're not here for you. It's your cousin Eddie's birthday. That's why we're here. This is the mission. You can pick out something for him. It just doesn't matter. It does not matter, and they will tirelessly badger you. You will hate your kid, and it's just this horrible thing by the time you leave.
Yeah.
You got a happy bag full of happy stuff, and you're in the worst mood you've been in all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are, the kid is.
But I remember being jacked to go there.
Oh, hell yeah.
We'll see you later, Jeffrey.
Sorry, Jeff. Hefe.
Speaking I don't know how to say toys, but just totos. Kimmel also has come out recently. Jimmy Kimmel's definitely been a little more political in the last year or two. So it's kind of funny. He just kind of came out and said, yeah, like, my monologues basically, like, they cost me some commercially. Because according to the polls I've seen, it has cost me commercially. That's that idea, but I wouldn't change anything I said. He says that he understands that his job is to make people laugh. Says, quote, I don't want to abuse my position. Basically, he's just saying, like, look, I talked about a lot of stuff. His kid was also dying.
Yeah.
So I think that's always going to...
Healthcare was an issue then. It was the top of the platform when the
right. But I kind of like what he's saying here, too. Like, I got to pick the ones I'm going to choose. I will say this. There is sometimes where all the shows are all doing political stuff, and it is a little tough. Because it's just like...
Because you can't escape it.
Right. It's also... Right,
sometimes we want a break from it. And it's not... And keep in mind, it's not about who the president is. It's just all the bickering and the nonstop, just this counterintuitive, counterproductive garbage that you hear all the time. And it's the same thing every day. So, right, you just want a break.
And you can do it in a way that's serious, or you can do it in a way that's entertaining. Trevor Noah will make you laugh while giving you the same information, where Kimmel stood up there and berated someone. Now, one is a little bit more different of an approach. It's a serious approach because it means something to him personally, where Trevor Noah, he'll do it in a funny way. John Oliver will do it in a funny way. It's just Saturday Night Live will attempt to do it in a funny way.
But I got to say, for the record, I think John Oliver, you watch John Oliver's show, or if you watch Trevor Noah, they have a different like to me, there's a different threshold of because they're specifically like political shows,
exactly.
Right? But yeah, sometimes you turn in. You want that stuff, man. You want a drunk Jeffrey the Giraffe,
right? Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't care who you are. That's fun.
But, yeah. And the
drunk giraffe that used to sling toys.
Yeah,
used to slang those toys. And look, as much as he's saying it's hurt him. If you're somebody else on the right, and you go on Fox News all the time, it's probably helping you go through.
Yeah.
So it's a tough balance there. You know what? We can't escape it. It was history in the making. Just a quick reminder, when the NCAA tournament expanded to originally 64 teams, a number 16 seed has never, ever beaten a number 1 seed. UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, made some history.
Going to be a challenge for UMBC against the number 1 defense in all of college basketball.
Hesitation and a fake 3-point shot. Yes, UMBC. It's a 6-point lead. And the greatest upset in the history of this tournament is going to happen. The NCAA tournament has been turned upside down. Shock and awe in college basketball. UMBC makes history.
This, by far, is the greatest upset in NCAA tournament history. You must be Cinderella.
Anyone who follows college basketball will never, ever forget.
And we just believed in each other, man. That's what we came with, the mindset of believing in each other and competing. And that's what we did. We got the W.
Can't even believe a satellite canvas.
I'm sorry. That's the sound of all the brackets that collapsed.
It's a satellite canvas. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's the University of Maryland, like the Terrapins, just their Baltimore County 4 buildings they have there.
But in college hoops, this isn't unheard of.
Right.
You got to remember, University of Nevada is in Reno.
Yes.
But UNLV was great for years, and that's the satellite campus in Vegas. So I think college hoops, you can do it. You're trying to make that in a football team. So
I would bet now Las Vegas has the bigger campus. I don't know. But maybe not the biggest football stadium, but it seems like their campus is pretty big.
Yeah, like literally over at ESPN.
We walk through.
I run through on our way to get a hamburger.
I walk through to get a hamburger.
That's why I know it's so big. It's lovely. Really is a nice campus.
Literally, like every bracket out there, seriously, is done. Because nobody took a 1 seed. Especially, you got to remember, Virginia going into this is not only a 1 seed, they're the number one seed.
They're the top
wasn't
seed
Michigan State
of the whole thing.
Too?
Look, man, all I will say is
there was a bunch
this,
of craziness that went on.
and I think you guys will agree. If anyone manages to nail their bracket, they don't know a thing about basketball. It's one of those people that picked by color. Yeah. You got your buddy from like Mozambique who's like, I do not understand basketball. Man, just pick some team. Like he's the guy that picked UMBC.
If you pick one team other than those seeds to go all the way, your bracket's still ridiculously. It's been torched. But if that team makes it to the final and wins it, I mean, you might win the whole deal just based on one pick.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say that was pretty exciting is go look at UMBC's Twitter. Because when they won that game and beat the number 1 seed, I mean, they were just trolling people that have been all day like, no chance, no chance.
Yeah, because it never has happened.
Yeah.
So, in theory, everyone's right up until the time they play.
Well, and I will say this. Going into this tournament this year, people said there's no clear-cut, like, it didn't seem like there's that team that just automatically should be that good.
Well, there's
outside
not now.
of maybe Virginia, who lost this one. But I will say, it's been exciting. Like, there's been great games and this and that. There's only been a couple blowouts, and a couple of them caught me off guard. I was like, oh, man.
And UMBC did not play a bad game the other day when they got knocked out.
Yeah, they did.
One of their best players, Jarius Lyles, of course. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention he's a DeMatha guy.
Mm-hmm.
Go Stacks.
I'm sitting there watching the game, and they just mentioned it, going, well, UMBC, and they explain where it's located and all this. So, mostly they're going to recruit within a local area, meaning Baltimore and Washington, D.C. And the one freaking kid they point out, he went to DeMatha High School, and instantly I'm like, Ted is going to tell us about this. Like, Ted is going to let us know. He's just going to make it a point that that's where the kid went.
Yeah, and they're still dancing, so hopefully they'll name check DeMatha a couple more times. Let's see. Bill Hader was back doing some Saturday Night Live stuff. Bill Hader had a long run on there. You've seen him in movies now, but one of his best characters was Stefan, which is a very flamboyant game hand on Weekend Update who would recommend clubs you go to.
If you're Irish or just white and violent, I have the St. Patty's Place for you. New York's hottest Irish club is Off to Church, Mother! Located in the clogged heart of the Bronx, at the corner of 3000th Street and Gary Marshall Memorial Drive. This gang-ridden skateboard park was the ceremony spot for Vern Troyer's 2004 wedding. This place has everything. Peeps, TED Talks, Roman J. Israel Esquire. And be sure to hit the dance floor and do a jig with Ireland's hottest Farrakhan's.
Wait, Louis Farrakhan is at this club?
No, Farrakhan's leprechauns that look like Farrah Fawcett. But also, yes, Minister Farrakhan will be there.
So I just read an interesting fact about this. So Bill Hader for years did Stefan, right?
Right.
Now one of his signature moves would he would always put his hand over his mouth almost when he was laughing in between.
Right.
So part of it is the guy that used to write there for them, John Mulaney, Too Much Tuna, he would, right before they would go to like the live version of those shows, Mulaney would go in there and change some of the stuff that
Right.
Hader's skit. So he did it like the first time, and that's how it became part of it, is he was reading it for the first time too.
Okay,
So
and trying not to laugh out loud.
Not only does he think it's stupid, like the skit overall, like some of those lines, when you see him doing that bit, it's the first time he's ever read those lines.
Okay.
So that's how it became so famous that he would have to cover up and laugh.
Because he couldn't do it.
So I will say, Stefan is one of the only characters the stuff is so insane. Like, I remember loving that character, but I'm not positive I could go back and quote any of it.
I can't quote any of it, but there was always the setup, and you knew it was going to end with some weird kind of sex move you've never heard before, but he explains it. The thing about Stefan, you know who he models it after, or who he originally modeled Stefan after. Bill Hader said, man, I didn't really come up with the guy. It was, so there's a Starbucks located close to, I guess, 30 Rock. And he was like, but, every day, he's like, I go in and get a coffee. And he's like, the guy didn't do it with me so much, but a lot of tourists are in the area. And he's like, I swear to God, you'd be in line. And they're like, hey, what's a good place? We're here with our kids. And this particular barista, he said, man, this is almost dead on how he was. Like, if you really want some insight into what's really happening in New York. And he just, gave the worst suggestions, but he had no idea. So, Hader's basically, man, I just imitate this guy to a T, and then they write all the goofy stuff they do.
I said it back in the office, man. I don't know if I was just stoned or in a good mood. I thought that episode was hysterical.
I thought it was hilarious. Now, that said, I was also stoned, but I really was. But I do think it was that funny.
I don't know if I'm the biggest Arcane Fire fan.
They were okay.
Yeah,
they were okay.
Their second song, but I really like the skits were great.
Yeah, and that, when you bring up the music, that's one thing I'll give Saturday Night Live. Whatever, over the years, I've seen many a band on there that I'm just like, I don't think I'm really into them, whatever. But if it's super popular,
then
even if
they're
it's
on.
the genre, you have no idea what's going on. They're going to be on there. And you can get turned on to some good stuff.
Yeah, and I'll probably like them later. You know what I mean? Just initially, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
Stuff grows on me, because half the time you're hearing it for the first time, because they're debuting something new or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, right. You see some stuff on there, and you're just like, oh, man, I got to get into that.
But I'm really liking this 8:30 West Coast time.
I'm down.
I am down. I am home. It's Saturday night. I'm like, I'm watching it live East Coast feed.
I'm officially old.
I'm old. I'm high. We order Chinese food.
Netflix put out basically a study on smoking on TV, right?
Okay.
So they were saying season 1 of Stranger Things was the most, basically how much smoking is shown on these shows. I got to say, for the record.
Have you seen Stranger Things yet?
I have not.
All you need to know, there's a cop who's one of the main characters.
Is that Chief Hopper?
Yeah, sure. I don't remember his name, but dude is smoking. If he's not smoking, then he lights a cigarette. If he's in a scene, a cigarette comes out. Either the scene starts and he's finishing a cigarette, right, and flicks it. The scene starts, he's already smoking, or the scene starts to wind down, and because he gets some weird news, he pulls out a cigarette and starts smoking.
Yeah, and I should say it's an anti-smoking group that did this. But
well, of course.
Netflix is just the biggest offender. And this is done in 2015, 2016.
Okay.
So, if you're like me, you're probably like, how is Narcos on this list? They smoke constantly. It wasn't out yet. But they said season 1 of Stranger Things had a whopping 182 tobacco incidents, thanks mostly
tobacco incidents
to Chief Hopper and Winona Ryder.
Yeah, I was going to say Winona Ryder. I bet both of those people probably smoke outside of their character.
Because they smoke that much?
Well, she strikes me as someone, I don't know, something about her vibe tells me she's a smoker. The dude, I don't know.
Somebody was, I can't remember if it was Travolta or somebody talking about being in a Tarantino flick and just basically saying, like, look, you know you're going to have to smoke. You're going to smoke. The hardest thing is, even as a non-smoker, it's like Travolta's like, I quit 20 years ago, but I find myself like, I'm really enjoying this. You know what I mean? Like, by the time it's all said and done, 6 months has gone by, and it's like, now I realize, like, I'm having the occasional cigarette again.
I do wonder about that, because you watch some shows, all the actors aren't smokers. So, like, do you think they give them, like, stunt cigarettes?
Cloves, I've heard, are used a lot. There was a guy in the X-Files.
Boy, they stink, though, man.
And, well, the thing is, I think he was an ex-smoker, same thing, but it was important that his character smoked. I think they even called him the Marlboro Man as a nickname on the show. But he had said, man, I just smoke cloves the whole time.
Yeah, and I know there's other stuff you can smoke besides tobacco.
You know it, though.
You know what I'm saying? You can smoke CBD weed that doesn't really get you high.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other, like herbs and stuff that, like, if you want the sensation of smoking a cigarette.
Okay.
You could smoke that. Because I'm just saying, like, some of those actors, there's no way they're all smoking. AMC's The Walking Dead was on there with 94 scenes showing tobacco use. Basically, look, Stranger Things, like, if it has to do with an older time, then people are smoking.
Smoke. I'm sure Mad Men probably had cigarettes.
You can walk into a store and buy a pack of cigarettes. I know this is the anti-smoking brigade. It's still an option across many countries that you can buy these things. People still smoke. It's like you can't ignore it. You're not promoting it, but people do.
I would say I'm just thinking now, my head is, I feel like no matter what movie you're going to see him in, at some point, Samuel L. Jackson, I feel like somehow, as an actor, he probably has had more smokes in his mouth than anyone I can think of off the top of my head.
I still just think the strangest thing is Orange is the New Black is on there. Prison.
Sure. Fair.
House of Cards. All right. But then Fuller House.
Whoa.
What? I don't know, because I remember watching the original one. I don't remember, like, any of the three dads smoking, or the uncles.
I mean, I haven't seen Fuller House, but I can't imagine that smoking is a mainstay.
I mean, I guess one of the girls grew up to be a smoker.
She grew up to be a lot of things, Ted. She's in recovery.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one, right? Like, oh, yeah, Fuller House is on
all
there.
these shows that make sense than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get a cop show or you got Cops and Robbers.
Sure.
There's always going to be some dude smoking, right? But, like, Fuller House. It just
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. All right, we got your headlines on the way. Coming up in minutes with Mike Hawk. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A couple who attacked mom and daughter in Georgia over cold fried chicken are heaven sent to jail. Do not put your dog for any circumstance on a United Airline flight for any reason. As a news story of another fail. Daytona police looking for person responsible for dumping hundreds of nails on the street. Turtle that ate puppy in school now turned into turtle soup for all to eat. And in Sacramento, the SPCA set to have a big old rabbit feed. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story in Florida on Highway 1, a man known as the, quote, Mad Nailer has been terrorizing motorists for the past 6 months by scattering nails all over the highway. People have suggested that the nails are possibly there unintentionally, but authorities say that, quote, if it was accidental, it wouldn't be at every dadgum turn, though.
Dadgum turn.
I know that's a direct quote.
That is a direct quote.
That's the dadgum. That tells me that is them and not you, Mike.
But don't talk to Terry at Terry's World of Tires. I don't have anything to do with this. So leave me out of it.
We are here to help, though.
All the nails I bought on Amazon.com.
Yeah, you have nails being dumped out at a major intersection on a highway.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee there's an auto repair place within, what, an eighth of a mile? And you know.
Because it's the same intersection, right?
Right. I mean, my God, man. At least do it like 4 intersections away or something.
These are also people who are there, for the most part, they're there on spring break, they're there on holiday. So it's not like the locals. They're just sticking it to whoever's down there for biker week or whatever. You know what I mean? You got to get your tire fixed or you're not going to get your ass home.
Just look for Jeb and Earl sitting on the porch in their rocking chairs.
Just look for Taylor's World of Tires.
Around the world, an investigation of a home by the Folsom Police Department, damn it, have actually put the SPCA in a bit of a pickle. During the investigation, police noticed that there were upwards of 100 bunnies at the home. City Code only allows 2 rabbits per home, so animal control was forced to come in and claim the remainder of the rabbits. On top of the 100-ish that police found at first glance, 286 rabbits were found at the property and were taken to the animal shelter. The shelter is now taking donations from any and everybody to try to get funds to care for all of these animals. They can't give them to people yet. They're still part of the investigation. So they're basically trapped at this animal shelter.
Part of the investigation. I mean, what are you going to interrogate them?
I don't know what it is, man.
It's a rat. Like, what's he going to do, man?
It's going to make more than 286 rabbits.
If you wait too long with rabbits, they're going to come back to 700. You know what I mean? Like,
we obviously know how this happened. This happened.
Get to it.
There only was 100 when the police left. When they came back, there was the 286.
That's what I mean.
They have more sex than a rooster.
And he has a nickname.
Yeah, roosters have lots of sex.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
that's all they do, man. They just walk around and have sex with everybody they see.
It's really fast, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, true enough.
It's like speed dating.
I was watching a rooster do it this weekend.
Yeah.
That's not creepy.
Playing a banjo on a porch.
If you get around chickens and there's a rooster, you don't have to watch very long before he's
on
getting on something.
Haven't had it.
With the beer. Watch this.
United has found themselves.
I'll show you a show.
United has found themselves in the news again. This one, yet again, because of a dog. A flight bound for St. Louis from New Jersey had to be diverted to Akron after it was discovered that they had loaded a dog on the flight by mistake. He was supposed to have been put on a flight directly to Akron, but he was put on the flight by accident. All 33 passengers will be compensated, and the animal has been returned to its owner.
Let me just say this. People on the East Coast drive everywhere. Wherever you are in New Jersey, to get to Akron, Ohio, will maybe take you 5 to 6 hours, depending on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, whatever the deal is. If you get an opportunity, you're almost better off to put it in the front seat of a UPS truck. Like, seriously, just ship the damn thing by U.S. mail, and I think you got a better chance at survival than you do if you put it in a plane in United. Like, flying is not good for dogs in the first place, but if it could just be done in a 4 or 5 hour drive, it's probably worth it if you love and care about your pet.
I think people are starting to learn that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, hell, if it's across the country, I understand. If it's a long way to go, I
But
get
why
it.
United?
But
why are they so bad at it?
They just must be, I don't know.
They even said something like, there were 24 dog deaths or something, right? Related.
It's probably higher than that.
But United was responsible for 50%.
Mm-hmm. In Georgia, a couple has been shipped off to the state prison after their reaction to cold fried chicken. The pair pled guilty and were convicted of assaulting a restaurant owner and her daughter because the fried chicken that they served the couple was cold.
It was cold, but when they came back, man,
they gave them fries.
They said the chicken was cold and that there weren't very many fries. So the people offered them a refund, and then they just beat the living hell out of them.
That's a free headlines.
Oh my God! All right, we'll see you next time for the Drunken Charge. Ryan Castle in for Sit and Spin. The return of the word. We'll drink and toast with the shot of the day and another round of Profile This coming up.
Yes, indeed. It is all true, but in the meantime, we be all about this bitch. So until tomorrow, do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.